but basically no.
I mean, you
They
look
wanna know what's
by the way,
coming
you look
on your
marvelous today.
Oh, thank you. Jody doesn't seem to think so.
You're shining. You look
It's not your best
I'm
day.
shining. Well, I didn't shower last night, so. All right.
There's Brad.
Okay. Did Brad bring Dad? Did Brad did not bring Dad. All right.
No dad.
No Dad, huh?
Did you hop on Pop?
That's Dr. Seuss.
Yes, it
Hop,
is.
Pop. Yeah.
No Pop.
That was my dad.
All right, Brad, go get some coffee. We don't want to see you until then. We all know what you're really like.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So, just a question: is everybody getting like random coffees, or is everybody just getting regular ones?
I got regular coffee for the box. It's coming.
Today I just got my son. We went a little off the beaten path, off the Derech.
Already
Yeah.
off the Derech Hashem.
Yeah.
That was quick. All right. Well,
Drinking
you're
fancy
here to get back
coffee.
on.
All right.
Are we still in the introduction?
We are not in the introduction. All right. All right. So let's start again from the beginning of the main section, chapter 1. Got that, Doc? Back to the beginning.
You mean you didn't want to go back to do the
Introduction again?
No. You forgot to do the translators forward. I want to just point.
I don't have a translator's forward, so you're going to have to do that because mine doesn't have a translation.
We didn't do that. Okay.
Wow.
I'm very happy being chapter 1.
All right, so as soon as we're done, Dr. K is going to go through the translator's forward, and he's going to give all of his insight on it. Anybody who wishes to stay for that, I wish you the best of luck. Everyone else, you can go home. All right, let's get started here once again. All right, section 1, Chelik Aleph. Yesodus HaMetzias, we have to understand the basics of reality. Okay, so the first section is the Baris Baruch Shmai, understanding what we can about Hashem himself. So here goes. You want here? Bread. We got a whole stack of them. Oh, and by the way, anybody who offered to sponsor, I'm taking you up on it. And every week that goes by and you don't pay me, it's going up. Just letting you know. Just saying. Okay.
Do you take Venmo?
By the time we're done, we're gonna have a whole library full of them. All right. Kol ish mi Yisrael. I'll take anything. I'll take anything that works. I'll take cash. Kol ish mi Yisrael. Every Jew, tzarech sheyamin, needs to believe v'yeda and to know, sheyesh sham matzui rishon, that there is an initial, or I guess a prior existence, kadmain, which was before, v'nitzchi, and is forever. Who, in this existence, he is shehimtzi umamtzi. He is the one who caused the existence of and continues to cause the existence of kol ma'ashanim tzibah, everything that exists in reality. And this is Hashem. Okay, so just to go through this step by step. The first thing he says is you need to believe and know. Now those are two different things, but they're, for someone who is of strong faith, then those two things are not very far apart from each other. In other words, a person can believe something without knowing it, and for some people, for certain things in life, that's sufficient. For some people, believing something without knowing it is not necessarily sufficient. Meaning, you could ask someone when something terrible happens to them, do you believe that this is for the best? And they'll say yes. And they probably are being honest when they say yes. But do they know that? That's already in the next level. There's another level of believing when you're at a point that it's not just a belief, but it's a knowledge. Now we're going to talk about in a little while, we're going to talk about how we get there, but just understand there are two levels. There's a level of believing and there's a level of knowing. But like I said, they aren't necessarily far apart, but they are not one and the same. Okay? Yes, we all good here? Okay. All right, next. So then he says, there is a Matzui Rishon. There is an existence. Now, Dr. K will be happy to fill everybody in on what the word Rishon means.
First.
Or?
Prior.
Excellent. Very good. So,
Nice job.
Dr. K is lucky enough to learn with Joe Goldstein in the morning at the Kolal's Kola Boker. And one of the things that we're learning about over there is the translation of the word Rishon. Now, Rishon can either mean first or it can mean prior, that which came before. So in this context, it's going to mean before, because Hashem is not the first, because first implies that there is a beginning. There is no beginning to Hashem. Hashem existed before he created time. So there is no before at that point. Can't even really say that term. It doesn't really make sense. But Hashem existed when time did not yet exist. So there is when it says that Hashem is the first, it's not really a good translation. I don't have a translation, so I don't know how the translators translate it, but it should say a prior existence.
It says a first being.
Oh well. All right. 0 for 1. That's fine. Next, we have Kadmain v'nitzchi. Kadmain means that which came before, and that which will be forever. So again, this concept of Hashem being beyond time. And hu shehimtzi umamtzi. He is the one who caused all creation and continues to cause all creation. So the idea of continuing to cause creation is something that is really critical. This is a very core element of understanding Hashem and our existence. The Nefesh HaChaim discusses the difference between Hashem's creating and people creating. When people create something, you take material that existed and you reform it, you reshape it, you cut it, you add to it, you do something to it, and it creates something new. And once it's done, it stays. Unless it's an ice sculpture. Other than that, it's going to stay, right? You build a table, it's going to stay until it's acted upon by some other force. It's going to remain. Hashem's creation doesn't work that way. Because we have to understand, all of existence is Hashem himself. Okay? Nothing exists outside of Hashem. So therefore, in order for something to continue to exist, Hashem has to continue to give it existence. Okay? So it's not like when I build a table. Shai, you want to grab a chair? Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know if they're unlocked.
There's a whole. Oh.
I asked
They're
them
locked?
to unlock them, and they.
And they said no?
Yeah.
Tom, you're the president. Come on, Shai, you can't pick the lock? All right. Next week, everybody, please bring your own chairs. No, I'll have to have a talk with David.
Oh, never mind. Like, who's David?
Okay,
How do I
so
get-
understand, everything that exists within Hashem. Nothing can exist outside of Hashem. So therefore, in order for something to continue to exist, Hashem has to cause that existence. Okay? The parable that I use to explain this is imagination. If you imagine something in your head, okay, everybody, you can close your eyes and you can imagine an elephant, okay? Okay, now open your eyes and look at me. The elephant's gone, right? The elephant does not exist anymore. The elephant existed in your mind as long as you were thinking about it, but the moment you stop thinking about it, it ceased to exist. So we have to understand reality is that way. That is what reality is. We exist in Hashem's mind, so to speak. Now, obviously, Hashem doesn't have a mind, so it's not actually. Rabbi Goldman, just ride the cart right up here. There's no more seats. Yeah, there's no more seats. Brad, you want to go in there and tell them we need more chairs? Yeah, sure. Tell them like it is.
Yeah, don't ask. Just be like, we need to be learning.
Tell them we'll go elsewhere next time with all our coffee.
Yeah, no, this is way too close to the location.
Oh,
Please.
there's a spot right there.
Okay. There you go. Oh, we got 4 seats. Perfect.
Feel free to get some coffee, y'all.
Yeah, here, there's a box of coffee here if anybody
come
wants.
get coffee.
Okay. All right, let's focus because this is a really critical element, okay? And it's pretty deep, so we need to understand this. Again, let me just say this one more time once everybody's settled, so we can concentrate on this. Oh, Yochanan, you're good. You should work here. Maybe we could get things
Could be
done.
his day
Maybe
job.
things would get quicker.
You don't need sleep, right? Just be your day job instead of sleeping.
I do nothing during the day. Well, I do sleep.
Well, you need sleep. It's kind of important.
Overrated. Just act Dr. K.
I'll bring you right back.
They're
Sleep's
talking about
overrated.
how sleep is overrated. Do you want to punch him now?
Sleep is overrated. I've heard that before. Is that true?
Depends who you ask. Depends if you're asking the person who makes money off of
Is it
getting
true
people
at
to sleep.
12:46 during the day?
We needed sleep to operate
Yeah.
at our optimum.
Okay, so I don't know about
Yes, we
everybody
do.
else. I need sleep.
All right.
Let's
That's
do
it. Brad's
this.
trying. All right. Everybody settled? Yeah, go. All right. So let's try this one more time over here. Okay. So let's get this straight. You have a book.
Can I purchase it?
You can. Can I have the box, please? Yep, the coffee. Thank you. Perfect.
Sweet.
Does that mean there's no refills for these people that are drinking?
There are refills, but if you knock my phone over, you
I'll
gotta pay.
hold it while they're
All right.
refilling.
So let's get this straight one more time. So what we said here is that. Did you bring a counter also? All right. So what we said was as follows: that the Ramchal is saying here that Hashem caused all of existence and continues to cause all of existence. So let's just understand what that means. What that means is that Hashem is all of existence, and nothing exists without or outside of Hashem. Nothing can exist outside of Hashem. Everything exists within Hashem. Okay? So now, in order for something to exist, here on earth, when we make things, we make it and it stays. Right? We build a table. The table is going to sit there forever unless some other force acts on it. But everything remains as is. But Hashem's creation doesn't work that way. When Hashem creates something, what that means is that it exists within Hashem's mind, so to speak. So that's not our mind, clearly, but we can understand it that way because in our mind, if we imagine something, it exists in our minds for the time that we're thinking of it. But the moment we stop thinking of it, the moment we stop giving it its existence, it disappears, it's gone. It'll never come back until we start thinking about it again, right? So it's the same thing. All of reality exists within Hashem, within his mind, so to speak. And in that way, is the moment Hashem isn't giving something its existence, it will cease to exist. It'll just be gone. Okay? So that's what he means over here. Every moment of existence is Hashem constantly giving things the existence that they have. So the moment Hashem doesn't give something its existence, it doesn't exist anymore. It's gone. Yes?
Are you referring in that instance to death?
It's not about death.
It's not.
No. Death is not the end of an existence.
Okay.
Death is a separation of the life force from a body. But everything still continues to exist. Something that would cease to exist would be like in your mind. You think of something and then you stop thinking about it, it's gone. It doesn't exist even in your mind anymore. It's not there.
Right. I think it was Einstein that said matter cannot be destroyed, or matter it just changes form.
Correct.
You can't destroy really anything. It'll just change its form.
Yes, matter cannot be created or destroyed. That's correct. And which is a pasuk in anybody? Kehalas. Ein kol chadash tachas hashamesh. There is nothing new under the sun. After Hashem created, after the 6 days of creation, after the creation of the sun and the world, nothing new comes into existence. Everything has already been created. Okay. And actually, if you learn that deeply, you'll see actually all of that even came within the first moment of creation. The first moment of creation, everything that will ever exist was in that initial point. But that'll be another discussion that we had 10 years ago in my Tuesday night class. So we'll get back to that.
Everything old is new again.
Everything old is new again. Yes, that's right. That's right.
Like fanny packs.
Yeah, that's right.
See
Okay.
that? Fanny packs are coming back? It's crazy. Anyway.
Okay, so now, all right, so that takes care of the first point. The first point of Ramchal is we have to understand Hashem is timeless. Hashem does not exist within time. Hashem created time. It's a creation just like everything else is a creation. And Hashem is the cause of all existence at every moment. All right, yes?
This has nothing to do with the stuff in Genesis where it talks about the difference between create and form?
Is this connected to the difference between creation and forming? It is, but not. So it is in the sense that when it says that Hashem created in that sense over there, it was talking about a major creation, meaning it was the initial creation, used the term create, and then the creation of man, the term create was used, because it was a very significant change because of the introduction of the neshama. But everything after that is not any new kind of creation. After that, everything is forming. So yes, but it's not. It's also not really connected because here we're talking about that everything exists because Hashem is constantly that force of existence. It's not like things that we make that once we make them, they're there. Hashem has to constantly infuse it with existence. Yes.
So you're saying that existence occurs in the very first moment,
Yes.
and everything else has a prescribed.
Is a formation of that.
And man,
Man is also a formation of that. The reason it uses the term create with man is because man was given a neshama. Neshama was not part of creation. Neshama is part of Hashem. So that wasn't included in the initial creation of the universe.
was that the only thing?
That was the only thing. Okay?
So
You all good back there in the peanut gallery?
so we differentiate between nefesh and neshama?
Is there a difference between nefesh and neshama? Absolutely. There is a difference between nefesh and neshama. So in the context of Genesis, the difference is that a nefesh is anything that has life, has nefesh. Anything
That also is because Hashem breathed the life into that.
Hashem, well, the where it says that Hashem breathed life, that's referring to the neshama specifically. It says v'yipach ba'apav nishmas chaim. Hashem blew the neshama of life. So there's another level of living which has a neshama, which is only true of mankind. So nefesh can be animals have a nefesh, but man not only has a nefesh but also has a neshama. Okay, that is number one. All right, let's go to number two. Number two is in addition, you need to know that this existence of Hashem. The truth of Hashem's reality is not understandable by anyone or anything else at all. There is no way that we can understand Hashem's existence. Okay? But this is what we know, and only this. That he is the completeness in the most complete form of completeness. And there is nothing lacking from him. So, as Rav Chaim Friedlander here explains, whenever we describe Hashem in any way, we can only describe based on what Hashem does. We can reactively describe. So, if we see Hashem being nice, we could say Hashem is nice. That's how we know that Hashem is nice. Not because we understand Hashem, because we see He's done something nice, so now we can describe Him as being nice. If we see Hashem as being merciful, same thing. So the thing that we see Hashem as being powerful, all the things that we see about Hashem, the things that He's done, those are our descriptions that we can use of Hashem. Beyond that, we cannot, because we don't understand.
But the midos.
The midos.
His midos.
Right, so Hashem also, in addition to what we've seen, Hashem gave Moshe a list of descriptions of Hashem, and he said, when you're in a time of need, use these descriptions for me, and then I will show mercy to you. So those are the 13 attributes of mercy that we say over and over again in Yom Kippur. We said them in Slichos, right? Because those are descriptions that Hashem gave us of Himself in order that we should be able to connect to Him through them. So generally, the only ways that we are allowed to even praise Hashem are with the descriptions that were given to us. But the Gemara says, if someone were to add to Shemona Esrei, for example, in that first blessing where we talk about Hashem, who's this, who's that, he's the other thing, if someone were to add his own to that, we silence them. Because anything you say is going to be inadequate. You can never describe Hashem fully. That's not possible. So for you to start adding your own things means you're saying, okay, this is what I can come up with. So that's ridiculous. Like, why would you say that? right? So you shouldn't do that. The things that we do say are the things that the prophets have said, so we incorporate those into our davening because the prophets said them with prophecy. So if there's a prophecy about it, that means Hashem is giving us that description, and we can then use that description. But other than that, we're not free to just give our own. So that's part of what we're talking about over here. We cannot understand Hashem. The only things that we can describe Him with are the experiences that we have from Him and the descriptions of Him that we have, again, from Him.
Rabbi?
Yes.
So what you're saying is we have 5 things. We have anthropomorphisms. We have that are based on action. We have midot. We have the names of Hashem. And we have what the prophets have said about Hashem.
What were the first one again?
The first thing was the things you said about it's based on action, which would be those anthropomorphisms.
Okay.
For example, Hashem
Like-
is angry, jealous, loving.
Right. So, yes. Yes.
So those would be those 5 categories. Would be, okay.
Yep. Okay.
The doctor has a question.
Yes. You're almost at your quota for today, by the way.
At the end where it says he is perfect in every possible way, this translation then says, and devoid of every conceivable deficiency.
Correct.
So why is that necessary if he's perfect?
Oh, okay, good question. All right, so that's where I'm going right now.
Finally got a good question.
You did, and if you would have just
All your
waited a
questions
minute,
are
I was
good
about to
questions.
explain it. No, they're not.
Yes, they are. They make us all think.
Okay.
Doctor is not asleep.
Uh-oh. All right, so now when we say over here that Hashem has no deficiency, what that means is as follows. What that means is that if I describe somebody as being nice, what that means is that I don't experience a deficiency in this person's niceness. Okay? If someone is merciful. So what that means is that I don't see any lack in this person's mercy. I can't ever see the epitome of mercy. It's not possible. That's not something we can know. It's not something we can ever give a boundary to, that we can say, I've witnessed mercy at its best. You can't. So when we're describing Hashem, that's something we always have to keep in mind. What we can say is, and when we say Hashem is merciful, what we're saying there is that we see no deficiency at all in Hashem, and we know that it's greater than that.
I missed one. You say you can't see the ultimate mercy
Because we're human beings. We can't recognize Hashem, and Hashem is the ultimate.
display that ultimate mercy.
He'll never be able to do that in a way that we can fathom it.
Why?
Because we're human beings. We live in a finite existence. We cannot understand the infinite. So for us, everything has a cap. We can't understand. You try to think about infinity. You can't. Your mind, the human mind is mugbal.
Pure mercy, it's not actually pure mercy.
It's pure mercy, but that's still not the highest level of mercy. There's still a higher level than that.
You're not saying pure mercy, you're saying the highest level.
That's what I said. I never said pure.
I understand.
Right. So that's my point over here. So the reason he says that Hashem has no lack, what that means is because as human beings, our understanding of things, by definition, is measured by how much lack I see. Okay? So I can never understand, it's like a number, right? There is no highest number, right? Because numbers can always continue. So it's really like that for everything. We live with finite minds. We can only understand things as limited by boundaries. Anything that's beyond a boundary, anything that doesn't have a boundary, we can't fathom that. We can't wrap our heads around that. So therefore, when it comes to describing and understanding Hashem, we are limited to saying, we know that there is no lack in this department in Hashem, in, let's say, mercy. We know that Hashem is the ultimate. There is zero lack whatsoever in mercy. Not that that's something we can understand. We can't reach that understanding, but that much we know. We know that Hashem is the ultimate of not lacking mercy. Okay? And again, that's something that's beyond our understanding, but what we can get is that there is no lack. Ein chesaron. There is no lacking, and that's the point of his last statement there. Is that okay, Doc?
I thought it was pretty good.
That was pretty good? All right. Not the best. It's never the best.
Well, it can't be because we're
There you
human.
go. Excellent. Very good. Okay. At least someone was paying attention.
Everybody has different.
It was a 10 out of 10 for what we can comprehend.
There we go. Excellent. All right. Very good. All right. Anything else? No? Okay.
You
All
can
right. So
scoot
let's
the
continue.
tables over so you're not in the sun, if you want.
Oh, you can just take your chair over.
I feel a lot of sun damage happening over here.
All right.
Tan's bad too.
All right. All right. Everything's terrible. All right. Let's continue.
Everything.
All right. So let's continue on. V'ulam. However. Okay. V'ulam devarim eila. However, these things, yidanum bekabbalah, we know them with a tradition. Min ha'avos, min ha'navim, from our ancestors and from the prophets. V'hisigum kol Yisrael b'maimed Har Sinai. I got this. This is really this is a bombshell of what he says over here. He says these were things that were understood by all the Jewish people when we stood at Sinai. V'amdu ala mitasam b'beirur, and in that moment, we were able to understand these things in their complete clarity. V'limdim livneihem dar achar dar, and they taught them then to their children, generation after generation, kayem as till today. Sheken tziva Moshe Rabbeinu al Shalom, because this is what Moshe Rabbeinu commanded, mipi agvura from Hashem,